Fantasy Football Picks and Bets presented by PrizePicks. Use code MMN at prizepicks.com to get yourself a match deposit of up to $100. Hit the link down in the description. You can jump around to the injury reports and rankings by position, or just hit the lists that are down in the description as well. Let's jump in to PrizePicks to get this on the go. Smash a like while you're here, by the way, and sub to the channel. PrizePicks this week going with a two-banger. I like Borat. DJ Chark under 40.5 receiving yards. My projection has him coming in around 23 receiving yards for the week. I know that if you had taken the under on his receiving total on Thanksgiving, you got worried when he had 3 catches on the first drive. But unders are never dead until they're actually dead. You never touch the ball after that. This is I wouldn't say it's a tough matchup. It's probably going to be a shootout. So that is risky. We know they'll probably take a shot or two down the field to DJ Chark, based on what he's done in this revenge game, by the way, against the Jags, and what he's done all season. He's just not coming down with them. I think he's beat this total twice, maybe once so far, and definitely not since returning from injury, as they've kind of phased him out of the offense. More short yardage, more goal line type work for Chark, which is really confusing based on his profile, but hey, just the way that they want to use him in this spot. So less than 40.5 receiving yards, and we'll up it a yard, go to the West Coast for that Miami-San Francisco game, and take George Kittle, Timbas, 41.5 more receiving yards. Miami is just an absolute sieve against tight ends, and Kittle is still one of the best. And although the pass rush has been better for Miami since Bradley Chubb has arrived, we're still into a situation where they probably don't need him to block as much. They are a bit banged up on the offensive line, granted, so a few more snaps, probably staying put, trying to prop up Jimmy G a little bit, but running down the center of the field is where you're going to get your yardage against the Dolphins. That's what Kittle is most likely to do. There's a chance he can get this all in one play with his big play ability, and Debo's a bit banged up with his hamstring problem. I have no idea how serious that is. He's probably going to play, but if he's not 100% in this game, you can just see a few more passes funneled towards Kittle. If he ends up with 6 targets in this game, and 4 of them are catchable, he likely exceeds this total. So I really like this matchup against Miami and what I expect to be a high-scoring game. So George Kittle, more than 41.5 receiving yards. DJ Chark, less than 40.5 receiving yards. 150 pays 450. Let's get off the schneid with the 2-play on PrizePicks that we've been doing on the show. Get back into some winning form, and we'll be good to go. I got a few more entries on the go. You can see I played a 6-banger. DJ Chark, less than 40.5 receiving yards. Amon-Ra, more than 74.5 receiving yards. I have a feeling I know where Detroit's going to throw the ball, and it's probably going to be to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jalen Waddle, more than 68.5 receiving yards, along with Kittle, more than 41.5 receiving yards from the same game. Curtis Samuel, especially with a banged-up Antonio Gibson, continues to see more work on the ground, so more than 7.5 rushing yards for Curtis Samuel. Saquon Barkley, less than 70.5 rushing yards. He's been slowing down. The workload has been slowing down. The snap share has been slowing down and decreasing each of the past 3 weeks for Saquon Barkley, and now he gets one of the premier run-stopping defenses in football, now getting Chase Young back. So, listen, it's always worrisome when you're going with an under on Saquon, knowing that he can make one guy miss and be off to the house. Hopefully, Washington can keep it in check for the purposes of this. What do we got? 25 pays 625. So 25-1 on the 6-banger. I'm more worried about getting our 2-play right rather than a 6-play right. But hey, sometimes you got to swing for the fences, shoot for the moon like we're playing Hearts, right? Injury report for week number 13 at the running back position. Some guys that I didn't expect to play are going to play. It looks like Michael Carter probably will not play. He is likely out for the Jets. So Bam Knight, Jonathan Knight is probably going to be the starter. We're probably going to get some Ty Johnson as the receiving back in this game. No word yet on whether or not they're going to activate James Robinson, but it's based on what Robert Saleh said, it doesn't seem likely. They have to pay an extra round draft pick if James Robinson hits a certain rushing threshold. So if they don't feel like they need him, then they're probably not going to use him. Elijah Mitchell is going to be up, but Christian McCaffrey appears to be a full go. So I was wrong with my ranking on him earlier in the week. More on that in a second. I had him down at 24. I've bumped him back up inside the top 6, I believe, at running back. I was just worried that dude could barely walk. on Sunday. And now that he seems to be fine, fire him up. No Elijah Mitchell to steal the work. We might get some Tevin Coleman in this game. Tyrion Dade Price, Jordan Mason. I don't care about those guys. I care about Christian McCaffrey and that he's at full health with no Elijah Mitchell. Sounds good. Josh Jacobs probably going to play against the Chargers. Najee Harris has deemed himself fine with his oblique injury, or as I like to call it, his 7-minute abs injury. But he left on Monday night, never returned, cost us our prize pick as he was well on his way to his more than 12.5 fantasy points. He got hurt. After 2 quarters, he had 10.9, never saw him again. Thanks, Najee, but now all of a sudden you're going to come back to playing against Atlanta. I have no idea how healthy he's going to be, what the state of re-aggravation for this injury is. Benny Snell had appeared on the injury report with a knee injury. He is off the injury report, so he's good to go. Jaylen Warren practiced in full Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, yet he's still questionable per the Pittsburgh Steelers for this game. There's a chance that all 3 of those guys play, so obviously in order, Harris, Warren, and then you don't need to care about Benny Snell. You probably don't even need to care about Jaylen Warren in this spot, too. If he was able to practice for 3 straight days on a hamstring injury, yet he is still not fully good to go, it's a tough scene for old Jaylen Warren here. Travis Etienne is likely going to play in this game if he is active, which Doug Peterson says he will be. It's not confirmed yet, but it says he will be, so keep an eye on the inactive. It's a great matchup, by the way. That Darrell Henderson will likely be inactive if Etienne is active. So that's kind of the replacement. If Etienne is out, it's Darrell Henderson that you probably want to start in place of him, not JaMychal Hasty. Henderson was not active last week, so just something to keep an eye on. Leonard Fournette is likely going to play with his hip injury. Says it's all in the past. I still like Rashard White more than him this week. Joe Mixon has not yet passed concussion protocol as of early Saturday morning. He still has a day and a half to do it. He's been practicing all week. Everyone expects him to pass, but keep an eye on it. You know, crazier things that have happened of a guy not passing concussion protocol that would just bump up Samaje Perine inside the top 10 this week at running back and make him a fantastic DraftKings play. Antonio Gibson is questionable with this foot injury. He did not practice on Thursday, returned to a limited session on Friday. So it gives him a chance to play. Either way, I still just much prefer Brian Robinson in this spot right now. We saw Brian Robinson seize this backfield last week, and now with a banged-up Antonio Gibson and a plus matchup for Brian Robinson, you're going to be looking pretty good to go here. I would advise to not play Antonio Gibson this week. Once again, all the rankings are up on DK Nation. You can find all the hot links in the description right now. The big change is McCaffrey back up to number 6 from 24 now that he's been taken off the injury report, and he is good to go. Love to see it. I have a few fantasy teams that could really use Christian McCaffrey to be awesome this week. Not going to lie to you. So Pollard, Pierce, all of the regulars. I moved up Brian Robinson to number 18 with the news of Antonio Gibson. I've slotted in Najee Harris at number 20. That's a spot ahead of Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson was dealing with cramps last week, and it looks like Raheem Mostert will return for this game against the Niners, which is a very good run defense for the Niners anyway. No Michael Carter, so I have Bam Knight at number 24. And where do I have Ty Johnson? Ty Johnson at number 40. So he's in that backup pass-catching role with Dontrell Hilliard, Samaje Perine of the regulars. You can play him up a little bit higher in full point PPR, but these are half point PPR rankings. I still have Gibson at number 30. If you want to play A.J. Dillon against the Bears ahead of him, you know, I wouldn't mind that at all. We know with the upside, just with Gibson, the pass catching has been there, the goal line has been there. Maybe that's all going to be phased out now, especially with the foot injury. You know what? I'm actually going to bump him down. Going to bump him down to, I mean, he's no different than really what Leonard Fournette is right now. So I'll probably move him to number 34 now that I look at this a little bit more. You know, talking it out in real time always helps out. So number 34 for Antonio Gibson in this spot. Wide receiver Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Kadarius Toney, and KJ Hamler are all out. Jameson Williams is likely out for the week. I would not expect him to return for the first time in the season. Darnell Mooney is out for the season. Ja'Marr Chase is likely going to play, not a certainty, but is likely to play. Then you have Russell Gage, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, and Romeo Doubs, all questionable for this game. It's an illness for Courtland Sutton, and he missed practice on Friday, but he should be okay to go. Jeudy got in one limited session after being out for weeks on Friday. There's a chance he plays, probably not going to play, however. And then Russell Gage is Monday night. We'll know more about that on Saturday, but he's actually practicing, which is new for him. Dubs, who knows? It hurts Lazard and especially Christian Watson if he returns, but you probably don't want to play him in his first week back, even in a pretty gravy matchup. So no Hamler. Jeudy probably out. We don't know with Sutton. This could be Kendall Hinton week. I mean, you probably don't want to play Kendall Hinton either. Or Virgil, whatever that guy's name is, and Washington. Listen, if the good receivers on Denver can't do crap with Russell Wilson, what are these other jabronis going to do? Nothing is the answer. So in terms of the rankings, they're all up on DK Nation right now. It's all the regulars that you would expect. Nothing has changed all that much from the ranking show I did on Tuesday with Jake Seeley. A few guys up, a few guys down, a few injury slots put back in, like Nico Collins gets a bump, obviously, with Brendan Cooks being out, Chris Moore and Philip Dorsett starting, coming up as flyer flex options or wide receiver fours in like 14-team leagues if you are in a pinch. Hopefully that is not the case for you, but like I said, in a pinch, these are guys that you could potentially play, and you can see where that situation can come in. At tight ends, we got David Njoku out. Juwan Johnson for Monday night, likely out, but again, that's a likely out. We'll see more information with the Monday practice reports on Saturday and Sunday for Juwan Johnson. Jelani Woods coming off the huge Monday night game is likely in. Daniel Bellinger still questionable. I'm guessing he's leaning towards playing at this point. Quarterbacks, all the guys we thought weren't going to play are going to play, except for Matt Stafford, who has passed concussion protocol, yet is going to be out this week. John Wolford is going to start in place of Matt Stafford, but Aaron Rodgers, he's playing. Lamar Jackson, he's playing. Justin Fields was removed from the injury report, so just to get to him for a second, actually at tight end, I bumped up Harrison Bryant to 12, I think it was. Number 12 in the rankings, one spot ahead of Tyler Conklin, one spot behind Hayden Hurst, in what should be a shootout for the Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City Chiefs game. Justin Fields, if he's off the injury report, I have him at number 8. Even that could be too low. I just so worry that he's going to take a hit on that left side and have to leave the game. That is my only fear for Justin Fields in this spot, because if he's completely fine, he should be ranked number 4 in the rankings this week. But I did bake in some injury downside to Justin Fields this week because, hell, he had a dislocated shoulder 7 days ago, and now he's off the injury report. Come on. So either the injury was misreported or he's just trying to play through the pain. They have a bye next week. This would be so stupid if he went out there and got hurt. Like, just a bad franchise move. I know they want to beat the Packers, but it'd be better Justin Fields being healthy and good next year and beating the Packers twice. You're not making the playoffs this year. I don't get it. So if he's completely fine, you probably want to roll the dice because of the upside that he presents in this spot. But I worry a little bit. Not enough to start like Tua over him. I'd start Justin Fields because we know what that upside is going to be. But I do feel a little bit uncomfortable with it. That's me. Maybe you feel completely fine and boom, just insert him into your starting roster. That will do it for the Week 13 injury update, rankings update, and prize picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use code MMN at first deposit for a deposit match of up to $100. Deposit $100, get a free $100, win $300 on the 2-play this week. Easy stuff. Then you got $500, $400, whatever it is. Anyway, more than you started with. Hopefully it's a winner. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.